Jason Statham gets mocked by a rude gym trainer. His response leaves everyone speechless. For those of us who have been living under a rock for the past couple of decades, Jason Statham needs no introduction. Entered an internationally acclaimed actor known for his tough guy persona in movies like the Transporter series, Crank, and Expendables series, to name just a few. And if you've ever wondered what the secret is behind his impressive physique, we've got you covered. So grab a snack, sit back, and get ready to be starstruck. It all started when he was just a regular Joe at the gym. Now let's set the scene. A bustling gym filled with the clanging of weights and the rhythmic thud of treadmills. Jason Statham enters, ready to crush his workout. But little did he know, he was about to encounter an unexpected hurdle. There he was, minding his own business, pumping some iron, when suddenly, a trainer with the social skills of a rabid badger decided to pick on him. Yep, you heard it right. This guy thought it was a good idea to make fun of Jason Statham. Talk about a brain fade. And here's where things get really interesting. You see, our story doesn't start with this cringe-worthy encounter. No, sir. We're going to roll it back a bit to see how it all began. Because before this fateful day at the gym, Jason had a pretty ordinary life. Well, as ordinary as one can be, with his good looks and natural athletic ability. He was a regular guy, trying to stay in shape. Yes, he loved going to the gym and working out, but he wasn't some gym rat obsessed with every rep and protein shake. But then the universe decided to play a little game of switcheroo and everything changed. It all happened when someone decided to leak his gym pics all over the internet. Suddenly, he went from being a relatively unknown actor to being recognized everywhere he went. Privacy. What's that? Suddenly, he couldn't walk down the street without being bombarded by fans and paparazzi. At first, it was exciting, kind of like being a rock star. But then it started to feel like an invasion of his personal space. You know the place where he could shed his famous skin and just be Jason amidst all the chaos? There was one place that was his sanctuary, the gym. Here he could escape the noise and the flashing lights and just focus on his workout. But even this peaceful haven wasn't safe from the prying eyes of the world. As news of his gym visit spread, people started showing up in droves, hoping to catch a glimpse of the action star in his natural habitat, sweating, grunting, and lifting heavy stuff. Jason was taken aback by the sudden attention. He was just a guy trying to get a workout done, not put on a show. But being the gracious guy that he is, he didn't let it get to him. Instead, he kept his head held high and powered through his exercises. But it wasn't just the fans that showed up. Soon trainers and gym employees everywhere were buzzing with excitement at the prospect of having Jason in their establishment. Some saw it as a chance to bask in the reflected glory of having such a famous client. Others were just plain nosy, eager to see what the fuss was all about. And then there was the one guy who took things a step too far. Infamous rude gym trainer, the antagonist of our story today. He thought it would be funny to mess with Jason, to test his patience and see how the tough guy actor would react. But what he didn't know was that messing with Jason Statham is like poking a sleeping bear. Sure, you might get a chuckle out of it, but you're also signing up for a world of hurt. Now, if you're wondering why this guy thought it was a good idea to pick on Jason, well, it probably has something to do with his inflated ego and lack of common sense. But hey, who are we to judge? So picture the scene. Jason's minding his own business, lifting weights, looking like the epitome of cool. When suddenly, the rude gym trainer approaches him with a smirk on his face. "So you're the famous Jason Statham, huh?" he says, his tone dripping with sarcasm. "Heard you were a big shot. Thought I'd come say hi." Now, most people might have just brushed it off and ignored him, but Jason, well, he's not most people. He looks up from his workout, his expression unreadable. "What do you want?" he asks, his voice betraying none of the anger that's simmering beneath the surface. The rude gym trainer, emboldened by Jason's calm demeanor, decides to double down. "Oh, just admiring the view," he says, gesturing to the rows of muscles that would make a bodybuilder blush. "Do you know all those movies you've been in? All that death you've caused? It's really starting to pay off. You're looking real good." At this point, anyone else would have decked the guy right in the face. But Jason, being the bigger man, decides to take the high road. Or maybe he was just waiting for the perfect comeback. Either way, he replies, "Thanks for the compliment. But if you don't mind, I'm trying to work out here. Maybe you should go bother someone else." The rude gym trainer, not one to take no for an answer, decides to push his luck. "Oh, come on, don't be like that," he says. "It's not every day we get a movie star in our humble gym. So what brings you here, huh?" Running from the paparazzi trying to lay low? Or maybe you're just here to pump some iron. Jason, who's been patiently enduring the onslaught of questions and comments, finally reaches his limit. He slams the weight bar down on the rack, startling the rude gym trainer, and stands up. All eyes are on him as he fixes the rude gym trainer with a withering stare. "You wouldn't believe me if I told you how much I bench," Jason says, his voice dangerously calm. "Why don't you come over here and find out?" Now, we all know that Jason is no pushover, so when he issues a challenge, it's best to take it seriously. The rude gym trainer, realizing that he might have bitten off more than he can chew, tries to backpedal. "Oh, I was just joking around," he stammers. "No need to get all riled up. I didn't mean any disrespect." But Jason isn't in the mood for apologies. He steps closer, his eyes boring into the rude gym trainer's soul. "Oh, I'm sure you didn't," he says, his voice dripping with sarcasm. "But that doesn't change the fact that you're a rude, obnoxious, ignorant little..." He pauses, searching for the right word, prick. And with that, he turns and walks away, leaving the rude gym trainer standing there with his mouth hanging open and his dreams of being Jason Statham's friend, crushed like a grape under a careless pedestrian's shoe. From that day forward, no one at the gym dared to mess with Jason Statham again. And we imagine the rude gym trainer spent the next few years wearing a pink shirt and doing curls in the corner of the free weights room, desperately trying to build up the courage to challenge the one person who could break him. The end. And that, dear friends, is the legendary tale of how Jason Statham shut down a gym with one simple sentence. The power of words, am I right? Anyway, folks, that wraps up our tale for today. If you enjoyed this action-packed journey through the world of celebrity encounters, don't forget to hit that subscribe button. We promise to deliver more star-studded stories that will leave you starstruck. Thanks for tuning in, and we'll see you in the next one.